Yeah, hello and welcome to today's presentation where you will learn how to effectively manipulate statistics. Because people always come to me and ask, hey, I want to push a narrative, but the numbers, they don't add up. I cannot use the numbers to push the things that I want to push. So what do? Do I change my beliefs? Do I change my narrative? Do I adapt? What should I do? And I always tell them, no, you don't have to change. Just stick to what you believe, even though the numbers show that you're wrong. Just stick to what you believe because you always have options. And this is what I'm going to show you today. And by the way, this is not about lying. We're not gonna lie. Lying is bad. Lying makes you vulnerable. You will not lie. You will manipulate. Manipulation is not lying. I will show you an example. So let's look at this. Imagine you have a penis length of 20 centimeters. I know, difficult to imagine, but just for the sake of the argument, your penis is 20 centimeters long. Now what happens when you cut off 1 centimeter every single day? Well, your length will go down. It will go down, and then after 10 days you stop cutting it off. Then your penis length will be 10 centimeters. And that's bad, because we don't want small, we want big. But what if I would tell you that actually cutting off your penis made it actually longer? What do you think? That's stupid? That's unbelievable? That's impossible? Well, then let's look at this statistic here. If we now compare our average penis lengths, we see that whilst you were still cutting off your penis, your average penis length was 15 centimeters. 15.5 if we are mathematically accurate. And after you stopped cutting off your penis, your average penis length dropped to 10 centimeters. So what does this mean? Well, this means that stopping to cut off your penis made your penis shorter. So you should have continued cutting it off. Now you might think, well, that's stupid, that's retarded, that's absolutely insane. No one is going to fall for that. Well, you're wrong. People will believe that. People don't care. These are facts, manipulated facts, but still facts. And they don't care about your feelings. Just because you feel that there is something wrong with those facts doesn't mean that those are not facts. I will teach you 3 useful things as to how you can manipulate statistics. Number 1 is change of growth. We will look at how you can manipulate statistics that way. How you cut your graphs correctly, and how you selectively compare yourself to others. Let's start right with the change of growth. What does this mean? So if you have here a graph that shows you some absolute values. These are some absolute values, and we see that the values are increasing. But what if our narrative says that things need to decrease? What if we want to show everything is going down? Well, we have options. We can, for example, look at the growth. Instead of looking at the absolute values, we look at the growth. So here we have the growth every year. And if we put the growth on a graph, then we will see, oh, the growth is going down. And this is what we will show the people that we want to manipulate. We will not show them the absolute numbers, we will show them the growth. So we can see everything is going down. And this is the narrative that we will push. Now what happens when our absolute values look like this? So we have still growth in the absolute values. We don't want growth. We want everything to go down. Let's look at the growth again. This is the growth. Let's put that on a graph. And we see, oh no, the growth is still increasing. Well, that's bad. What do we do now? Well, it's very easy. We're gonna look at the growth, of course. Let's look at the growth of the growth. This is now the growth of the growth. And we're gonna put that on a graph. And then we show these numbers. And then we see, oh, the growth of the growth is decreasing. And that's what we're gonna push, because that suits us. Now you might think, aren't people like, don't they care? Don't they care about stuff like that? Like, look, don't they look at the numbers? Don't they think this is ridiculous, showing the growth of the growth of the growth of the growth? And the answer is no, they don't care. They just look at pictures. They just want one piece of information that tells them that they were right. And if you want to push a narrative and they already agree with you, then they will agree with you. It doesn't matter what you show them. And you're not lying. You're not lying here. You just show them the actual numbers. And these are the actual numbers. That the growth of the growth is decreasing, and that's bad. We don't want that. Let's look at the next example. So again, we have some absolute values that go up. We don't want up, we want to push the narrative that it's going down. Let's look at the growth. Let's put the growth on a graph. Oh no, the growth is still going up. Let's look at the growth of the growth. Zip. Oh no, the growth of the growth also goes up. So not only we are growing, not only is the growth growing, but also the growth of the growth is growing. Well, that's bad. But of course, you're not out of options. Because if everything fails, you can still show percentages. And this is now percentages of the growth. If you compare the growth, these are the absolute numbers of the growth. But if you calculate the growth in percentages, you're comparing the growth to the values from the previous year. So you compare this value from the previous year and this value from the previous year. And then you might figure out that, hey, percentage-wise, we're actually decreasing. So you can twist and turn and look at specific numbers, growth rates in absolute values and growth rates in percentages. And you can look at this and that and this and that. And eventually you will find something. So don't worry. I mean, you need to be a little bit versed in math, but I think you can do it. So let's look at the next thing, how you can manipulate statistics. This is way easier. You don't need to know anything about math. You just need to cut your graphs. So let's look at this graph here. So we see here's going up and down and up. What if you want to show that everything's going down? Well, you can show this entire graph and then you see, well, here we were up very high and then now we're slightly down and there we were way down. You can show this and like try to push your narrative that everything is going down, but yeah, it's not ideal because you see here it's going up again. And we don't want that. We don't want to show it's going up. We want to show it's going down. So what we will do is we just cut here at 18. We will cut it off. We just cut it off and then we see everything is going down. But you also need to cut off here at the high point at 8 because you also don't want to show that absolutely everything has went up. That also doesn't fit your narrative. You need to cut that also away where everything went up to push the narrative that everything always went down. And this is how your graph will then look like. Now everything is going down. You can also try to crop this out and then squeeze it a little bit, squeeze the graph, make it more steeper. It's about optics. We're not talking about numbers, we're talking about optics. You need to show a nice picture that pushes your narrative. The numbers don't matter at all. No one looks at the number. So let's look at the next graph. We see here, the next example, things are going up and we want up. Up is good. Up is good, we like up, but it's not going up very fast. It's not going up very, very rapidly. So what can we do to manipulate and show that actually everything is going up very rapidly? Well, instead of starting here at 0, we could start at 300. And then how does this look like? Let's see. Boom. And suddenly it looks steeper. And again, no one cares about these numbers. We just look at this picture here and then we're satisfied. And then again, you can crop this out, squeeze here the 20, squeeze it together, and then it looks way steeper than it actually is. And boom, you've manipulated your graphs. So, and for the last point, point number 3, we're gonna look at selective comparisons. So, let's look at this statistic here. So we can see here a specific value 1. This can be anything. GDP, infant mortality, quality of health care, whatever. Can be anything. We see here my country has a value of 3 in this value 1. And let's say having a low value is bad. So we are second last in this value A. My country is apparently garbage. Let's look at other values. Value 2. In this value, my country again is second last. In value 3, again, my country is second last. Wow, my country seems to be a gigantic shithole. Value 4, wow, again, my country is second last. So what are we gonna do? Do we admit that my country is a shithole? No, of course not. We're gonna selectively compare ourselves to other countries. Thus we see, if we compare ourselves in value 1, we compare ourselves to country D, because country D is in value 1 the worst. So we see we're better than country D in value 1. In value 2, we compare ourselves to country C because country C is the worst in value 2. And so on and so on. Value 3, we compare ourselves to country B. And then in value 4, we compare ourselves to country A. And we're in all of these comparisons better than the others. And this means we're number 1! Woo! My country is the best in the world. So, what is the conclusion that we can draw from all of that? less is more. Less is more. Only give them the information they are supposed to know. Don't give them anything that goes against your narrative. Cut away all information that does not support your narrative. And last but not least, adjust your graphs. Adjust your graphs so that they optically support your narrative. Crop them, twist them, tweeze them, squeeze them. Do everything you can so that a quick look at the optics of your graphs support what you want to push. So you can now become a journalist or politician or an online commentator, whatever. So that's it for today. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.